Alright guys, welcome back. This video is gonna be a little different. We're gonna do some maintenance on 67. We got it back in the shop finally. It's been a while. It's been probably almost 2 months since we've had it in the shop because pretty much the way I work, when I'm off the weekends, I'm working, during the week. So when I was racing the whole month of March, I was leaving it in the trailer during the week, and then wherever I was going that weekend, I might push it out the day before and look it over, and then put it back in the trailer. It's just easier that way because I don't have a shop at my house yet, so I'm still keeping the car in my dad's shop. But we had my cousin's mud truck in here for a couple weeks. It had stuck a valve, so my dad was working on that and he got it fixed. So now I got the car back in the shop yesterday. Like I said, it's been in a trailer for close to 2 months. So we're just gonna do some maintenance on it. I changed the oil yesterday. I usually change the oil every 45, 50 passes or so, somewhere in that area. It had 57 on it, so I went ahead and changed the oil, and which it looked fine. I mean, it was dark. It was, a little black because it had so many passes on it, but and it looked really fine. For an alcohol motor, it looked good. It wasn't milky or nothing really. But we are gonna run the valves, and I want to change the jets in the carburetor. Because remember, we bought a Rupert carburetor last year, when we were going, back and forth with Rupert, doing what he was wanting us to do, try and get the O2 sensor read what we were wanting, because we did buy O2 sensor with the carburetor. We've never even used O2 sensor on anything, which it is important. So we put O2 sensor in the header. We just put one, and it was reading like a 5.0, 4.9 to a 5.0, which is a little fat. Rupert was wanting it like a 5. I think he said like a 5.4, 5.5, somewhere in there. So we had 176s in it when we got it, and he did say he might have dropped it down some. So we had dropped it to 168 and didn't change nothing. Well, he didn't like the coil we had, so we bought the coil he wanted. Didn't really change anything. Still, the O2 sensor still the same. And he said we might be getting oil in our plugs, which we were. When we refreshened the motor, we put the old valve seals back on it, and it was never leaking. They were letting oil by. So over the winter we got that fixed, and I've talked about that before. So we put new valve seals on, and it was blowing smoke when you first cranked it. Ain't doing that no more. So we got that fixed. O2s, and I did drop the jets again to a 160, which is it's low really for this carburetor. The carburetor we took off being a 850, it had 156s in it. So this carburetor is 1,000 plus, and it's badass. I mean, it's a super nice carburetor. It runs really good, sounds really good. It's really consistent. It's just, I'm about to change the jets because I just don't think a 160 is what it needs to be. The O2 is a 5.2, but I don't think, I think the 160 jets are just too low. The car's not having no issues. We were having an issue with it popping in the burnout and sometimes down track, but I think we figured out what that was. We've had problems out of our rotary button. I've had 2 or 3 of them do that same thing, causing it to misfire. We changed rotary buttons, and it seems to be fine now. So I want to raise the jets to at least a 168. It make me more comfortable. May not do nothing. May not be nothing wrong with a 160 in it. I feel like it's a 160 when the other carburetor had a 156 in it. It's just, I think it needs a bigger jet. I just feel more comfortable with a bigger jet. It may not mean nothing, but I'm gonna put a 168s back in it. We've had a 168 in it, and it ran really good at Montgomery with 168s in it. I can't say nothing about the 160s because they run really good at Gulfport with 160s in it. So, but I'm gonna put a 168 back in it. That's what I'm about to do. About to change the jets and this Rupert carburetor. Alright, so as you can see, I had to take the carburetor off because I couldn't really get to the front jets with the screwdriver we had. So ended up taking the carburetor off. I hadn't had to do that before, but I've never done it in the shop. I've always done it with tools I had in the trailer. So apparently I have a better screwdriver in the trailer for those front jets, but it ain't no big deal. Take it off to do it. It ain't that big of a deal. Alright, so ended up having to take the carburetor off just because I couldn't really get to them front jets like as good as I wanted to. I didn't have that problem when I changed them before, but I changed them with the tools outside that I had in the trailer. So apparently I got a shorter screwdriver in the trailer that fits those jets better than the one we have here in the shop. But ain't no big deal. Take the carburetor off. It'll take just a minute. So I'm about to crank it because I didn't crank it yesterday. I had to change the oil, make sure we got oil pressure and all that. And I'm gonna check for leaks since I broke the fuel line off and took them I had to take the bolts off. So I want to check for leaks and stuff for there. So I'm about to crank it up, check for leaks. everything seemed good. Had one little leak on the back bowl, the bottom bolt on the back bowl. One of the bottom bolts on the back bowl leaking a little bit. But I tightened it up a little bit more and got it to stop. So everything's good. So no more, it got that fuel leak. So I ain't got no fuel leaks now. Sounds good. So had good oil pressure, about 80 pounds oil pressure. So next we're gonna run the valves. We ain't ran the valves since this winter. Got about 60 past months since we ran the valves. So that's next. And another thing I forgot to mention, if you remember from Gulfport, I had a water leak, which we've been having a water leak from this water pump. And if you remember from Gulfport, first pass I made over there after carbon sitting all winter, it was low water, and it got hot than normal. It was 190 when I got back there. I made the first pass, which normally it don't get that hot. So, but that's what if you remember from watching that video, that's what it was. It was low water. The water pump is still has a leak, not causing any issues. It's not getting water on the track or nothing. It's actually falling in the frame. So, but we still gonna try and fix it. We think, we know where it's coming from, so we're gonna fix that also. But yeah, next we're about to run the valves. So got the valves ran. I only had one of them that was a little loose, when the exhaust were a little loose, tighten it up. Everything seems to be good. I know I talked about we might fix that water, plan on fixing that water leak. It's really not that bad, so we're just gonna let it go. Probably fix it later, I guess, because it's been like that for probably years. Just a little drip coming from the water pump. So, but got the 6.7 ready pretty much. Just gotta hook a fuel line back up. We may crank it here in a minute, but it's pretty much ready to go. We're gonna go to Holiday Beach next weekend. So there's a man right there. But we're gonna go to Holiday Beach next weekend and see what we can do over there. They're having a $5,000 race over there. So hope y'all enjoyed the little maintenance on the 67. So see y'all in the next one.